Continuiamo allora il nostro incontro con studenti di facoltà di medicina, a questo incontro che si svolge a Florenza in Polonia, un piccolo paese, in 3 giorni, ma abbiamo attualmente sempre un intervento da parte di professore Roberto Di Donato, cardiochirurgo pediatrico, i continuiamo il suo intervento. A teraz, moi drodzy, kontynuujemy kolejny wykład profesora Roberto Di Donato, professore, ex direttore anche dell'ospedale Bambino di Gesù. Jest kontynuacja wykładu pana profesora Roberto Di Donato, byłego dyrektora szpitala Świętego Dzieciątka Jezus w Rzymie. Roberto Di Donato jest kardiochirurgiem dziecięcym.
Okay, so this fifth lecture is about dangerous addictions for medicine in the mental and moral spheres. Progress.
Probably not.
Okay. So addiction has a negative influence. It comes from Latin, where addictus means slave. So it implies loss of self-control, an overwhelming desire of something, deviation from standard habits. Freud says they are substitution or repressed sexual impulses. Now, there are both positive and negative addictions. The positive addictions are like those aiming at improvement of the body and the mind, like becoming very fanatic about exercise and fitness, creative pursuits, and continuing learning. Negative, the dangerous ones, are those who cause negative consequences such as financial problem, strained relationship, or physical and mental health issues. Now, I always wonder how people that have a brain can undertake a path that leads to this pattern of catastrophe from all points of view, from social, physical, mental, economical, family, etc. So we all know how these people end up, like basically vanishing and dying in the streets in terrible conditions. Now, the biochemical mechanism for drug addiction is based on this reward circuitry of the basal ganglia. Basically, there is a hijack of the centers for pleasure and reward in the basal ganglia, and in addition to that, there is an overdrive of the danger alerting mechanisms, and that basically lead the individual to feel worried about losing the element, the substance that gives them pleasure and satisfaction. Eventually, and this gradually leads to addiction. Basically, they cannot stop it anymore because they want more and more. From the biochemical point of view, I'm not going to enter deeply into the topic, but you know that, for example, while eating food, we feel better because there is a release of some amount of dopamine. They go to the dopamine receptor in these particular centers. But if this particular drug instead determine a much higher relief of dopamine going to stimulate the dopamine receptors in the basal ganglia, and this gives this feeling of reward and satisfaction. And so these are the 5 most addictive substances. The cocaine is a potent stimulant, causes from changes from extreme happiness, alertness to irritability and paranoia. Methamphetamine is a habit-forming stimulant. Also, this individual go from increased alertness and hyperactivity to aggressivity, dysrhythmia, hypertension. Opioids are potent pain relievers like heroin and fentanyl. They give a wave of pleasure and pain relief, which is a rewarding experience, but also can cause death. In addition to these 3 groups of drugs, also alcohol, which is a depressant, and nicotine, which is a stimulant, can determine addiction because they create pleasure, but also they have negative consequences. There are lighter drugs like cannabinoids, hashish, marijuana, godz.14.30, benzodiazepines. Also, it can create addiction. There are different theories about why an individual gets into this pattern and track. Moral theory may stem from moral failings or a disconnect from spiritual values. Another theory is disease theory. It's usually talking about individuals with mental conditions. They may evolve into drug addiction. Genetic theory, some genetic predisposition. Behavioral theory. There are personal traits such as impulsivity, sensation seeking, which is called also Darwinian hedonism, and negative emotionality. So these patients with a strange character, they can deviate easily towards wrong habits. And also these are important: emulation, job pressure, competition, poverty, despair, joblessness. So extreme depression can lead also to this problem. What are the groups that are most vulnerable to addiction? As I said, there can be, this is kind of repetition, but emphasizes a few aspects. Genetic predisposition is present in believed to be there in 40 to 60% of the individuals. Certain brain characteristics that determine increased vulnerability, for example, in a younger population. Psychological factors, stress, personal traits, depression, psychiatric disorders. Environmental influences like exposure to trauma, emulation, in a group of junior gangs and others, emulation with each other, and starting use of the drugs at early age. 9 out of 10 started before 18 years old of age. So this expands the issue of the young population more exposed and the reason for this. This young population that is throughout the teenagers age, there is still an ongoing cognitive development. So it is believed that these individuals have an increased vulnerability to stress, as well as risk-seeking behaviors. So they have fewer inhibitory stimuli, and so they can easily fall into these traps. On top of this, there can be family, social, individual factors. family, like physical or sexual abuse, emotional abuse, neglect. At social level, deviant peer relationship, peer pressure and popularity, bullying, gang affiliations that lead into humiliation, individual attention deficit disorder, and depression. These are all factors that have been related to the development of drug addiction. Why is drug addiction so prevalent in Hollywood? I always wondered why these people have everything, they should be happy, but they live in a highly competitive and stressful industry. They have a pressure from the outside world. Frequently they undergo harsh criticism, constantly being in the spotlight and having limited privacy. And child stars being thrown into an adult world, they are even more easily prone to develop this habit. They are also undergoing peer pressure, addiction that to the eye that they get from being in the spotlight. So this, when you do these young actors that can easily develop again drug addiction. So what are the current problems with drug abuse phenomenon? Illegal drug trafficking, the need for prevention of drug usage, the need for treatment, and the recovery from addiction. So this describes grossly, lists some of the biggest producers in the world, from Asia and Latin America. You see Afghanistan, Pakistan, etc. Latin America, Bolivia, Colombia, Peru. And there are some particular routes with stations for distribution. One big station is in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, but there are also others probably everywhere. Each country may have a sub-distributed station. How to oppose drug trafficking? Reinforcing border security, disrupting drug trafficking organization with the efforts to identify and disrupt the illegal supply chain, trying to reduce the demand with territorial surveillance, supply reduction, maybe with increase of costs, difficult to say, understand of what, but if these drugs end up costing more, this is going to be a deterrent. And this international cooperation that may help to limit the phenomenon, if not to eliminate it. I'm not sure about this topic because I try to understand what is exactly the drug policies in the different countries of Europe. So it looks like there are a couple of them, like Portugal and Switzerland, where they are reinforcing decriminalization of the drugs. Theoretically, they are banned all over Europe, but in these two countries, it's kind of free use according to individual desire. I'm not sure even about that, but that's what I found. And there are countries with variable permissive drug legislation, including my country, your country. Somehow it is variable. It's not that completely banned. There are some permissive, habit in different countries. So that, as a matter of fact, there is use. The issue is that whether it can be legally bought in the pharmacy or, but honestly, I'm not so expert about this. Maybe you know something because I'm sure being a young individual will be more exposed to the offer. I did not have this problem when I was young, and I think you are targets for the traffickers. I'm just saying, I don't know. So I honestly don't know exactly what are the rules about the use of this drugs. To prevent the drug misuse and addiction, there can be different programs. Universal, like for example, you go do the schools or the communities, you do some courses, just in general, just TV, for example. Selected programs for groups of children and teens who have specific factors that put them at increased risk of drug use. Not necessarily they're using, but in particular areas of some that are known to be where the traffickers are working, so they are more exposed. And there are youth that are already started using drugs, and they have to do a program dedicated exactly specifically to them. Treatment include screening for substance misuse, early intervention to prevent escalation, engaging patients into the treatment, treating the substance use disorder of all levels of severity, coordinating care across different systems like healthcare, social services, housing, employment, criminal justice. Long-term monitoring and follow-up to see how the program is going for treatment of the addiction, and specialized healthcare settings and dedicated multi-specialist workforce for the most severe cases. Important recovery from addiction as the following needs: detoxification, with purge the body for drugs, manage withdrawal symptoms, behavioral counseling, individual group and or family therapy, identification of root causes of drug use, repair relationship and learn healthier coping skills. Medication to manage the withdrawal symptoms, to prevent relapse. They treat any concomitant mental health condition, depression, anxiety, that can contribute to maintaining the habit. Long-term follow-up to prevent relapse. Now, this is the end slide. This is the title of this book by Brittany Burgunder. Recovery is hard, regret is harder. So this problem has to be addressed actively and aggressively. And that's it. Any comments? Julie, any comments?
Professor, what is your opinion about caffeine or coffee? It could be addictive?
I am addicted. No, it's okay. I don't know if it's addicted. It's I like depending on when I was working, I was went to the machine, giving little cups many times a day, but that was more a habit, not a real need. Cigarettes, smoking. For a period when I was in Saudi Arabia, I had started to smoke cigarillos, and at some point it started with one every night with my friend, and then I ended up during the day taking even 5 of them. So I started feeling nauseated. From the evening to the next morning, I said, no, it's enough. I have to stop. No issue, no need to go back. So is it addictive? Yes, but it can be easily come out. All people that want to stop smoking or drinking is a little bit different, but it is possible to stop right away, in my opinion. It's a matter of will. So not necessarily need to go through for this particular pleasure procuring habits. They're not as heavy as the cocaine, etc. So it's a lot depends on your will. If you realize that you're doing something silly, decide to stop right away. Forget about chewing gum to wean off the desire, but it is really a matter of having a strong mind which decides that what you're doing is wrong and you have to stop. This is my experience, because I can tell you about this particular issue with the smoking. I thought I was stupid. And I said, why should I do? Why should I risk my health, life, etc. I stopped. And it's a big topic, and there's not much to say, and it's really wrong, and I think I covered the main topics. Any questions? Any more questions?
Does the special operation need some kind of, I don't know, recovery from addiction? Like I heard that to transplantation, it's I don't know how to say it, but the patient must be nerve off and.
I'm not sure I follow you completely. You're talking about the patient with the transplanted?
Yes, who will be transplanted? Like who will be the not donor but the taker?
The recipient behavior.
Yeah.
Because of the, transplanted some rules that you cannot disobey, and of course your health is already at risk for a number of reasons, particularly the risk of rejection and infection. If any additional problem you add to your body, like for example, smoking with the lungs, or drinking liver, etc., they can add to the overall weakness of the body and vulnerability of the body. So with the transplant, you better do this without stopping from any dangerous addictions. But the transplant itself does not give you that desire. You need to think that you have to. But as I said before, with for an issue, with just deciding strongly that this is really stupid of me, I don't want to do it anymore, I think you can stop. The light ones, the drinking, the smoking, coffee, not real. According to what I read, the alcohol can give such a thing, but I know cases that people have stopped right away because they were really going into a decline and they didn't want to do it so bad. Anything else? A little tired? The first lecture after a big
Yeah.
for me it was okay actually, but I understand that it's not easy to even to listen.
There's dark and yeah, it's good.
I don't know, is it time for the last one or you want to do it after?
I think now.
We do now? Okay, fantastic.
And this person, for example, in London, so she can call on us now? By internet?
I don't know. We should check it on the transmission. But,
No, there are two people.
oh,
there
so
are.
maybe yeah. And if it will be possible, we will connect with them in 45 minutes.
Because they want it to
Okay,
be
yeah,
even now
okay, amazing.
to halal.
This is the artificial intelligence in the knowledge, in theory, practice, and its threats. And I know that I'm going to be giving a very elementary exposition. I'm sure that your brother, as a 20-year-old informatic engineer, can explain much better. But anyway, go ahead and see what I can. So artificial intelligence is it's a system that allows computers to do very intelligent work. And this intelligence can be simple for a dedicated task, middle, or can be advanced, depending on what is the potential for this, this system. Now, this is some of the components of the artificial intelligence, the sort of hardware. Machine learning is more sort of software, neural networks, natural language processing, robotics. There are components in different ways of the artificial intelligence. And so basically, what happens with the intelligence? It works on data collections. These data are processed with the help of algorithm. Starts the process of machine learning, and then decision making and continuous improvement. And this wheel keeps rotating, and so every time there is more learning, more potential to do more advanced functions. So artificial intelligence will change the world, with some expected changes in industrial revolution, work reshaping, healthcare, transportation, education, conquest of space. So it definitely is going to be a big asset for the future. And these are different, speaking with healthcare, many of the functions that artificial intelligence can help with: diagnosis and early detection, medical imaging, predictive diagnosis, personal risk assessment, precision medicine. You can read genetic analysis, drug development, custom therapeutic plans, clinical decision support, risk stratification, etc., etc. Healthcare operations, optimizing the hospital operations, supply chain management, telemedicine, drug discovery and development, mental care, virtual therapies and chatbots, early detection and monitoring, personalized interventions. For aging population, for the detection of the falls and prevention, chronic disease management, cognitive support. But there is one aspect of the ethical and regulatory considerations, which, as we see next, we have the data privacy and security of risk, bias and fairness, inclusivity, human oversight. In fact, ethical issues with artificial intelligence and healthcare, data privacy and security, so personal data breaches, patient identity protection, algorithmic bias, and is very important because bias may depend from an original, not totally correct message, but the bias remains in the system. It can be multiplied, with the collection of more data, maintaining this bias. So there is a weakness in the system for this issue. So artificial intelligence models trained on biased data, transparency and accountability. So who takes the responsibility? the artificial intelligence said, should I respond for artificial intelligence? So one should avoid over-reliance on artificial intelligence. Like for the human element, and we go back on that, regulatory compliance, other issues. So which is better, the artificial intelligence or the human intelligence? And here you see what are the strengths of the two systems. Artificial intelligence makes objective decision, fast calculation abilities, able to mimic human conversations, low chances of errors in familiar problems, able to conduct research and hunt factors within few seconds. Very quick production of results. Human intelligence can make efficient decisions for ambiguous or uncertain cases. Works better in novel situations which AI doesn't know, and cannot adapt to something that never is not present in the database. Emotional, is lacking the human intelligence as emotional and social intelligence that AI does not have. Abstract thinking ability to look ahead to the future. So I don't know, maybe I stretched a little bit the definition, but I define the AI as a great performer, but the human intelligence is the creator, the one that determines all this. So human intelligence will always be needed, twice, I wrote. So the advantages of human intelligence: creativity, intuition, the ability to acquire knowledge which is inherent to humans. The human intelligence works with sensory experience. The human intelligence has the ability to reason, which is applicable to a wide context of experience. And the human intelligence created artificial intelligence. Disadvantages, so which first also in favor of creativity. The AI works only on static programmed knowledge, so risk of perpetuating bias. AI system work only with symbolic input. Limited scope based on reasoning mechanism implemented. So there's a lack of contextual understanding and adaptivity. Not all the cases, even if the same diagnosis, are the same depending on a number of factors. So you cannot generalize the treatment only in one way if the patients are in general different among them. There will be no AI again without HI. 5 reasons why AI won't replace physicians. Robots cannot replace empathy. Physicians have changing working methods, so adaptability basically. Complex digital technology requires competent professionals. If there's no one working on the machine, the AI is useless. There will always be tasks, that algorithms and robots can never complete. For example, Heimlich maneuver or even surgical operation, because the artificial intelligence cannot do surgery. It has never been about technology versus human being, but technology in support of human activities. Is AI beneficial in medical education? So yes, it is beneficial in many ways. Personalized learning, AI can address knowledge gaps, enhanced training, virtual simulations, improved efficiency, better decision making. AI can assist students in diagnostic, reasoning, treatment planning, and risk assessment. Access to information, quick researches, data analysis, curriculum development, learning, personalized learning experiences, assessment, streamlined assessment process, clinical skills training, yes. But still the doctor, the medical students, and this regards you, master the basics of medicine. They need to master that. They need to know anatomy, physiology, pathology, pharmacology, to understand the disease mechanism and the underlying pathophysiology, and also the physiology in general and the pharmacology. Still you need to have clinical reasoning and critical thinking to do differential diagnosis and adaptability to complex scenarios that are not contemplated in the database of the artificial intelligence. Develop empathy and communication skills. We're talking about robots versus human beings. So the AI lacks empathy, emotional intelligence, communication, building patient rapport, delivering bad news, practice self-awareness and compassion, team collaboration. So these are machines, they're not human beings that can interact with other human beings. What about manual and procedural skills? Your students have to practice and perfect manual dexterity and procedural techniques, like physical examination, surgical and procedural training, so manual training. Ethical decision making, so ethical reasoning in hard decisions, like end-of-life care, resource allocation, informed consent, clinical judgment in complex cases, holistic patient care, including social circumstances, psychological state, cultural background, and personal preferences, adapting to new information with critical thinking when faced with evolving clinical situations. So all these things should be in your background. In addition, research and evidence-based medicine. So basically, to become able to, the medical students have to become able to develop a deep critical appraisal of studies and how to apply evidence to patient care. So critically evaluate the quality of studies, their applicability, and the limitation of evidence in real-world context, generating hypotheses, formulating research questions, and designing experiments. And it is, in medicine, it's a lifelong and self-reflection process with continuous education, staying up to date, fill the knowledge gaps, self-reflection, regularly assessing own strengths, weaknesses, emotional responses, to become a compassionate, effective healthcare provider. So all this is a necessary background for medical students. So this is a little bit partisan. So the role of artificial intelligence in medicine, I still give prevalence to the human intelligence because all the part of the intuition, empathy, and the skills in the professional procedures is only a patrimony of the human intelligence. Knowledge, yes, AI can be more knowledgeable because it can have rapid access to all what has already been discovered by humans, by the way. But maybe there are things that even the most prepared doctor may not remember or not connect right away, whereas artificial intelligence can rapidly find a solution to a clinical problem. But again, all the rest is proper for the human intelligence. So the best method for learning and practicing, both learning and practicing medicine, is the integration of AI into medical education as well as into medical practice, offers a powerful complement to traditional learning and working methods rather than a replacement. So yes, AI, welcome, but still the human intelligence has to prevail and exert a role. Nurses Siri and Alexa. Do we like this? I don't think I will survive to see this. Fortunately, I don't think it will ever happen because you still need the human component. And this is the end. And this is just an addition of, I like this picture. Okay, so You want to present yours? Is there time?
Yes, probably yes, but I asked.
This was my last. If you want to say something about this, I don't know, but if you want to present yours as well. Here it's, was it clear enough? Was it clear enough?
We put a lot of work, so.
What is it?
Put a lot of work for that.
Jeszcze nie czekaj. How many slides here? Ready? How many slides here?
It's video, 10 minutes.
I just want to say at the beginning, information sets very fast. Meaning by the time you say it, they may be already updated. Without further ado, let's go with your slide. Problems with AI, safety and reliability. Currently, ChatGPT, if they do not know something, they will just make something up. Also, there is some degree of randomness in their app. More.
Maybe one more time.
Może to wyłączy ją jeszcze. Jak to włączyłem coś innego, to się to włączy? Nie, nic się nie dzieje. W ogóle wiesz, nie przechwytuje ekranu, tylko się sfrizował, więc jakby może świeżo rzutnik?
No możesz.
Czyli co, to tak działa się łączy?
Nie, to będziesz nie możesz. Musisz lapka możesz ładować.
Zostaw to w całe Tak?
No i... No.
Działa.
Tak. Weź to się może być.
Mi się wydaje, że tutaj nie przechwytuje ekranem, tylko się sfrizowało. To wyłączyć i włączyć?
Masz tutaj tego. Eko blank.
Jesteśmy już. No. To? No.
O, jesteś. Jest.
Wyłącz teraz, no. prostu to włączne, jak on się będzie wiesz, może zrób taki szok, musiałeś wszystko ok? Szok ci słychać?
Presentation.
Yeah.
I just want to say at the beginning.
Okay.
Czekamy tam na resztę.
Już kryzys żegnamy.
Good morning. This is presentation. I just want to say at the beginning. Information can close very fast. Meaning by the time you say they may be already outdated. Without further ado, let's go with your slide. Problems with AI, safety and reliability. Currently, ChatGPT, if they do not know something, they will just make something up. Also, there is some degree of randomness in their every response, and they have literally no idea if something is false or somebody made it up on internet or simply is actual information. Privacy issues. In order for ChatGPT to work or other AIs at this point, they need very much a lot of personal data about people. Just in this case, suddenly, like every element of development, AI will cause some issues with jobs because automation may cause people to lose them. Misuse and malicious use. ChatGPT and other AIs are tools, just like mine. You can use them correctly, like doing presentations like that, or helping people, but you also may ask ChatGPT how to murder someone, maybe generate AI image of somebody struggling somebody. Something there is a lot of bad things you can do with AI. Depends on this skill. Suddenly, ChatGPT as tool that is very easy to use makes a lot of people dependent on that. Meaning a lot of people have no longer ability, for example, to program, make presentation, make something that thing, doing math, etc. Environmental impact. In order for ChatGPT to work, there needs to be server that all the time, and that whole internet, what takes a lot of electricity and generates a lot of CO2. Laboratory challenges. Current law does not have anything about AI, meaning there can be some issues with law. For example, copyright because of AI generated art, there may be some AI generated voice, about voice actors, like there is certainly a lot of it. All the jobs are at risk of replacement by AI. By 2050, AI thinks it will replace these kind of jobs, routine and repetitive jobs. Because of fact that if job is very repetitive, you just need to put up one simple algorithm, ChatGPT, and also I at this point think that jobs like that will be very easy to replace. Transportation and delivery. Even though I personally am afraid of the concept of AI taxi drivers, after my research, I realized that currently there are even systems to help drivers, so why not soon to replace drivers? But still, I hope it will be very well tested. Not for generic and warehouse. One thing they may be very good in planning the warehouse or any type of storage because, well, it's pretty simple task. Then likely to, if somebody would create actual good AI, making some precise job would not be as hard as for human. Even an administrative work. First thing, making pure research is what ChatGPT does, like it's their most important job. Second thing, when you think about the scheduling a meeting, etc., will not be that hard for ChatGPT because they just get data and they just need to fit like 30 minutes in between time. Content generation and design. And the first thing I just want to say, I do not mean the creative part. It still will be like somebody to will be studying an idea, because they cannot create anything new because they are just robots that repeat what human already did. But they will be good at summarizing things. For example, after some kind of football match, and they can say the score at one time, they scored things, etc., etc. But that are not being replaced anytime soon. Creative professions, as I said, AI would add any kind of robot, is anything but create healthcare robot. It's for two reasons. One, to fulfill these roles, we need to be empathic. Two, humans do not like to interact with robots, and I do not think ill patient would not really trust robot to take care of skill traits. For example, electricians, it just will be very hard for them to be replaced by AI. Leadership and strategy roles. As I said in healthcare roles, people generally do not trust AI to lead them, to talk with them. In general, likely AI will never take any role that involves interaction with human. Well, unless it's literal repeating and advertising things because it's currently nothing.
Hello, my part of this presentation will focus on medical view on topic of the artificial intelligence. So, first of all, I found some studies that people that use chat robots like ChatGPT have some cognitive function problems, like for example, difficulties with critical thinking, accuracy of finding information, lack of deep understanding on things that they read, decreased human interactions because of they spend less time talking to other people, and they make their own a chatbot that will answer them the way they want to be answered, and also decrease in the motivational skills because chatbots just make things faster. But to show the positive side of artificial intelligence, I found and would like to present to you some examples of usage the AI in medicine that improves and will improve medicine and maybe saves lives. So first of all, I found some studies that AI tools will or would potentially be complementary tools for clinical decision making in stroke and epilepsy. Also, it is used and will be used in screening tests. For example, there's a study from Germany that found that usage of AI in screening tests for breast cancer has 17% better detection rate than non-AI group. Also, I found some AI program that was, of course, low cost and has similar efficiency than dermatology, and also program that could find some early occurrence of Alzheimer's disease. Also, AI may be used in the research, but in a positive way, because it can find some correlations, and this way can find some correlations. And for example, this way, when AI model had been given huge group of people that develop Alzheimer's disease, it found that some genes like ApoE4 gene related to cholesterol was risk factor of Alzheimer's disease. Second major problem that should concern any medical professional is the usage of the artificial intelligence in the development of science, because chatbots are misused to generate scientific papers. Many of these AI-generated texts are submitted without proper verification or peer review, leading to the spread of low quality or even completely fabricated research. This undermines the credibility of scientific publishing and makes it harder to distinguish real discoveries from fake and misleading contents. Example, AI-based vegetable electronic microscopy as a scientific technique in one study that was published without correction, and later on other studies also made by AI used that phrase because the full study was in their database. It may cause that society would have even more doubts in science, and later on also doubts in medicine, but we all agree it's pretty dangerous. Secondly, we should be aware of this and check every information even more to not duplicate some AI-generated nonsense.
Thank you for your answer. As you may see in sources, this presentation involves ChatGPT because, as I said, this is pretty good tool to make following presentations like that to inform people of advantages and disadvantages of that. Also, this presentation was made in PowerPoint, like every single slide.
Dobrze, grazie. Allora, questo adesso facciamo breve pausa perché ore 4 inizieremo collegamenti, abbiamo 25 minuti per un pochino di rilassamento.
Va bene.
25 minut będzie troszkę przerwy. Dobrze? Żeby coś się napić i okej?
Basically, we will confirm the...
Wy już drugi raz jeszcze na te nie z nimi mówili, że to było...
Wczoraj tak wyszło jakoś, że zaczęliśmy rozmawiać.
Dobrze.
O,
Okej, grazie. Sì.